Hey guys, welcome back to RL Design Innovation. My name's Brian, and today we're going to do a project. We're going to do something that normally we use a scroll saw, but we're going to do it on our laser using a camera kit that's installed in the laser. What are we going to do? We're going to do a vase, and this is typically done on a scroll saw. I'd like to thank Steve Good for putting these out there from the Scroll Saw Workshop. And as you can see, we're going to do a vase. How are we going to do that? Well, basically, I printed out the plans. This is the front. This is the layers that go between. And then this is the back layer. I'm going to show you how to use Lightburn and trace them, break up the nodes, cut it out, and we'll do multiple layers. And then I'll show you, we're going to glue it up, do maybe a light sanding, maybe we'll stain it. But this is what it looks like, and this is what we're doing today. So this is the project we're going to do today. It's a nice vase, came out really nice, and I'll show you how we do it. Let's get over the station so we can start. Let's go. Okay, we're in Lightburn 2.03 release candidate 4. It should be coming out on the market soon. There's a lot of bug fixes in there. What I've done so far is I just put the overlay of the front of the vase into Lightburn. You can see it in the right corner over here. What I also did is I traced the outer lines with a black magic marker because the lines when I printed it weren't really dark enough. So what we're going to do first, we're going to update. You can see it right there, and you're going to say, oh, there's little black marks on here. Don't worry about it. It doesn't have to be perfect. I drew this really quick. I outlined it, but I'll show you why in a second. So we're going to go to trace. Over here in your camera panel, you see something trace. You click trace. And now we're going to hit sketch trace down here. You're going to click that. But what I'm also going to do is, you see this smoothness over here? I'm going to increase that. And what that does is when it traces it, rather than it jagged looking, it smooths out the curves. So the highest is 1.32 and 1.33. I'm going to also optimize it. So if there's any gaps, it'll fix it. I'm going to optimize it. I'm going to go to 1.8. Actually, where is it? 1.8. So I'm going to go to 1.8 on that. Now I don't want to trace everything. So I'm going to draw a square. All you do is left click. Right about there. I'm going to bring this down because I want to try to bring in as little as possible. Make this on the outside a little bit. I think we're just about there. Okay, that looks good. I'm going to say okay. Now I'm not going to show the bed anymore. There is the item. Okay, we're going to do a couple of things first. I'm going to make the rows on the inside. That will become another layer. And you can see we have the object in here. The first thing we have to do, we want to make a couple of layers because I want to cut the vase out and I want to engrave the rows. I want to get rid of the thickness thing. So the first thing we have to say is ungroup. Now I want to highlight where it says quarter thick. That was when you're doing scroll saw, it tells you the thickness of the wood. I'm going to delete that. Now the next thing I want to do, I want to highlight the rows. I'm going to make that red. Some of them may not be selected. In this case, it was. I'm going to also I'm going to group that piece right there. I'm going to move it to the side for a second. Now what we want to do is regroup the vase. And I'll show you. We highlight the whole thing. We regroup it. Now it's one entity. That's going to be the black layer which we cut out. But here's why. I'm going to use the offset. And I'll show you in a second. I'm not going to do 1 millimeter. I'm going to do probably 0.5, a half a millimeter. Now the reason is, I'm going to make that temporarily the blue layer. So the offset we just created is the blue layer, right? The offset we just created. I want to click on the black layer. As you can see, it's highlighted. I'm going to delete that. Now we have the vase perfect shape that we can cut. Now you see this down here, this little bump, that was mine when I was using the marker and I didn't feel like printing it out again. We'll just sand that, it's not a big deal. Now we're gonna put this over here, right there. So we have the line for the blue, which is the cutout, we're gonna cut that out. And the red, which is for just engraving. Okay, so the red, we're gonna do an engraving. So I'm gonna highlight it. I'm gonna go to my materials library for 3mm basswood. We're just gonna do a score and an etch. I'm gonna assign that, okay? Then the blue, we're gonna go to the blue layer. We're gonna cut that. I'm gonna hit cut. And I'm gonna say assign. So automatically, this comes in so handy when you're using your material library, because once you get a setting that you like, you just add it in here. It's a really nice feature. I show that in one of the other videos, but send me an email if you still have questions. So now I want to try, again, I don't like wasting wood. Let's see. I'm going to move this over here, put it right about here. And we're going to move this. If I hit Alt-P, there's a representation of what we're going to do. So let me cut this out. Okay, so we completed the cut. As you can see, it came out really nice. Again, this was just using the trace function within Lightburn. And now we're going to go on to and continue on the other cuts. Again, there's a close-up of it. I put the back overlay of the vase into the Xtool laser system. Now what I realized afterwards, on the bottom, if you look at my arrow right over here, this black line went upward. When I was drawing it, I missed it. You know, the dog came in and pushed me. So what I've done is I just put a piece of white tape over it. And thinking about it now, if I would have done that before to clean up my lines, I could have just used a white piece of tape. Anyway, learn something for the future. Let's trace this. Again, we do sketch trace. We're going to smoothness, increase this all the way to max 1.32. And we're going to do optimize. I'm going to do 1.6. Now let's draw what we want. Okay, let's go over here. Bring this down a little bit. I think that looks good. We're going to say okay. Now I'm not going to show the back. And let's see, let me make this one black. And you can see this right here. Again, same procedure. We're going to right click, ungroup first. I'm going to zoom in. I want to get rid of this quarter thick word. Now I'm going to group this back again. Group, right click, group. And now we're going to go to the offset again. And again, 0.5, delete original. There it is. Now we can cut this out. I put the wood in there. Let me up the overlay. And you can see I'm using a piece from before. Again, this is the beautiful thing about having the camera system. I just pop it in. I want to go right here. And that's it. So we're going to, again, cut the black layer. Let me assign it to a cut, assign, because I left the green one from before, which was the inner shell. We're going to cut this. Let's just do Alt-P. Looks good. And now I'm going to cut this. Just cut this out. These are all the pieces that we cut. We'll line them up. And basically, there's the front. I'm going to glue each layer in here. Then I'm going to use a zip tie to hold this together real tight and put a little weight on it. So now I'm just going to glue it, glued up the layers. As you can see, they'll dry. Probably tomorrow. I'll unhook this, or probably Monday. And then what we do is a light sand. We don't have to do a ton of sand. And then we're going to stain this. As you can see, the project is completed. I sanded it lightly. I put a coating of stain on here. I just wiped it on, then wiped it off, and then put a clear coat of lacquer on it. Great little project. It's a lot of fun to do. What did we do today? We learned how to trace a plan using the camera system. Then from there, we broke it up. We into its nodes. We added an offset. We then cut the front out, the innards, and then the outside. And then we did the glue up. And then we did this finishing. So I hope you learned something today. Email me if you have questions. Thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. Hope you're having a wonderful Labor Day. Till next time. Bye-bye.